Kelly is an attorney in the firm of Henningson Snoxell Limited, located in Maple Grove. She has been practicing law since 2004 and concentrates her practice in the following areas of family law: divorce, child custody, child support, parenting time, marital property valuation and disputes, alimony, spousal maintenance, and anti-nuptial agreements. Kelly understands the importance of listening carefully to the issues and concerns her clients experience during one of the most difficult times of their lives. She guides her clients through the legal process, letting her clients know what could potentially happen and what likely results are in the case if they were to proceed to litigation. She is admitted to practice in Minnesota and is a member of the Minnesota State Bar Association and the Hennepin and Ramsey County Bar Associations. In the past, Kelly has served as co-chair of the Ramsey County Bar Association. Kelly also serves on the Twin West PAC Board, I-94 Chamber Board of Directors, Osceola Maple Grove Hockey Association Grievance Committee. Kelly was raised in St. Michael, Minnesota. She received her BA magna cum laude from the University of St. Thomas and her law degree from William Mitchell College of Law. She joined Henningson Snoxell in 2013 after practicing with another prominent family law and personal injury law firm in St. Paul. Kelly has been listed as Super Lawyer's Rising Star. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with her husband Tom and kids Ella, who is 11, and Holden, who is 9. In the summer, you will find her lakeside, just outside of Aiken, and the rest of the time at the rink cheering on her kids who play hockey or carting them to their various activities. Kelly also enjoys posting on Twitter on a variety of topics, including her kids' antics, politics, and observations of everyday life. Kelly.
The thing about family law is that the law changes pretty much all the time. So I always like to do this at the beginning of my presentation because family law people think it's a huge thing. This is things I do not do. I don't do property issues between unmarried people, meaning they bought a house together, you go talk to John Morphew. I don't want to touch that. Doggy visitation. We actually had a case that came in, people were fighting over who was going to get the dog after they broke up. Again, I don't touch that. General family disputes, sibling issues after mom dies. You need to talk to an estate planner about that. Harassment restraining orders, orders for protections. I typically don't handle those, but if you need help getting to someone who does, I do. Third-party adoptions. I don't do those as well. What I do is step-parent adoptions, and I'm actually working on one right now. Not very often. So this is when you do give me a call up. Divorce. Custody parenting time matters. Typically those happen after you have an agreement, and something needs to get modified. Spousal maintenance. Child support. Third-party custody. Third-party custody is very specific situations, meaning your sister's kid has lived with you for the last year and a half, and now you want to make it official. Grandparent visitation, under Minnesota statute, there are very, very, very specific situations where a grandparent can sue the parent of a child for visitation. Come talk to me, but it's a very specific situation. And again, modification of any of the above awards. One thing I will say about family law is just because you have a final agreement, which we call a decree, doesn't mean things can't change later on down the road. Custody can always change, parenting time can always change, child support can always change, spousal maintenance can always change in most circumstances. That's why I always say, come talk to me after your final agreement, and bring that up in my commercials. So, I like to talk real quick about some trends and upcoming issues. I do a lot of custody cases and post-decree matters. I will say right now, a lot of my cases are people coming in 2, 3, 4, 5 years after their divorce is done or their custody matter is done, and what they've been doing doesn't work. So guess what? They're coming to me, we're gonna have to mediate, we're gonna have to talk with the other parent and try to find something new. And sometimes we have to go to court because people just can't get better. Parenting time. I will say, in most cases, unless there is something going on, meaning we've got someone who's a domestic abuser, someone who harasses someone who's got a chemical dependency issue, somebody who has a mental health issue. If you have two active involved parents, 50-50 parenting time tends to be the default schedule. But, as I said, you've got a chemical dependency issue, a mental health issue, domestic abuse, it's not gonna happen in all likelihood because guess what? It's about what's best for the kids. It's not about a parent's rights. The court is not looking at what kids need, who kids need, but what they need. As I said, post-decree modification, retirement, what happens? Spousal maintenance, or as we call alimony, is starting to change, big time. One of the things that has come up lately is people are starting to retire. Okay, boomer, long story short. These people have long-term spousal maintenance agreements, and when one party wants to go retire, we gotta figure out how we're going to be splitting the cash. Very time intensive, a lot of litigation, a lot of experts put in. ADR, we're talking about mediation, we're talking about all sorts of evaluations. Courts don't want to make decisions, they're gonna slide it out. Those things below are things we tend to use. And lastly, child support changes. We had a big change about 1.5 years ago. Child support has changed immensely in dollar amounts. A lot of people who had 50-50 situations and or what we call 8-6s, they really need to come see somebody because their awards probably have gone down by $200 to $300. Hence the $764 versus $542 that I found on one of my cases. Okay, things to remember. We've got a lot of new faces in here and I have to always do this. I cannot contact people you give me. They need to initiate the contact. Same thing for John, and he knows this too. We can't talk to people until they talk to us because we've got these ethical rules that govern our license, and I like to keep mine on. I know John would too. The best time to talk to a lawyer is before any big time decisions have been made. I don't know how many times people will come in and say, hey, I made this deal with my spouse. What do you think about it? I literally had a gentleman come in who had been married for 3 years last week, offer to give his soon-to-be ex-spouse half of the equity in a $300,000 house when he had owned the house outright before marriage. Dumb decision. Okay, here are good referral partners, i.e. people who know my clients before I know them. Other attorneys, counselors and therapists, realtors, mortgage lenders, all those good people. And there we go, my favorite people. My daughter Ella, my son Holden, and then my husband. And yes, they're in Mama G's, and yes, they're in JC's.